Alright, so I'm gonna put a motor in this. I bought it at the auction. It didn't have an engine, so I'm gonna make a plate, an engine, get everything mounted, and see how this goes. So this is not quite what I was wanting when I ordered everything on Amazon, but I'm gonna make do with it. I'm gonna have to machine out a piece that will bolt to the engine here, that this plate can bolt to offset it just enough to where everything clears, because it's got a piece that sticks out, and I'm gonna have to align it just right so it sits like right in there. So it'll clear the throttle linkage and everything and the governor. I'll still be able to get everything to bolt on just fine, and it's going to be chain driven from there, and I'm going to have to take the rear driven clutch off of this and make a sprocket that bolts on here and put a chain from this clutch to there. However, this thing is probably going to fly, unlike the factory setup, so it may run about 40-50 mile an hour when I'm done, but that's okay. I like going fast. So a little dilemma, it's splined instead of being a keyway. So I'm gonna have to make a adapter that will slide on here that my sprocket can bolt to. Not a big deal, just a little bit of machining. So to start with on this, I am going to have to build my final drive sprocket setup first and work my way back so I know where to make the plate, how far over to make it hang, and where to drill the holes and slot it for the engine, because the engine's gonna have to slide this way so we can take chain tension in and out of it. So with all that being said, start here and work our way back, and at some point I will make the plate that will set in here once I get a very close idea where everything's going to line up. So to start with, we'll be getting this made. And I just so happen to have a box of chain and some sprockets of assortments of that size, so I guess let's start building. So to start with, this old primary or secondary clutch, it's got a bend in it in one of the ears, and it was not for me from getting it off either. It looks like somebody had hit it with a hammer, which I used a pry bar and hit back here where it's more solid, but somewhere through here one of these is boogered up, so it's pretty much junk anyways. So I got to get it apart so I can get the shaft out of the center, and I'll machine a bushing basically that will slide over to the top of this that will take one of the other sprockets. So we'll turn down a piece of material in the lathe, get everything set up and squared up. I'll weld it all together, and then we'll have our sprocket made for the rear, and then we can go from there and build everything forward. So I've got this thing basically chucked in here. It's not really chucked like you'd turn it, but it's pushing up against the chuck. I got it pressed in here, so when I take this screw out, I don't know what it's going to do, so I don't want it blowing up in my face, but at least keep everything contained. As long as I can get in here now. And that's not going to happen. Well, poo. We'll just leave it kind of loose so it won't blow up in my face too bad, I hope. I'm hoping just taking this retaining screw here out will allow it to come apart. I have no idea. When we get this done, if it's really fast and really cool, we'll go find random people around town that want to go for a ride and get their reaction. I'm thinking it'll probably run about 40 mile an hour depending on how the sprockets pan out for the gearing. because it's going to have a heck of a gear ratio compared to what it used to have. This thing's going to be insane. Okay, so that retainer's out. It doesn't look like it's trying to pop apart, so. Well, we'll go beat on it with a hammer and see what happens. Okay. Can't really tell if that's coming apart or not. Don't really look like it. Well, I guess I can see if I can press it out of there. Alright, this ought to be safe. I'll be dipped. It's actually pressing it out. I didn't know if that was going to work or not. Sweet. It's out. So apparently I broke it, but that could be a good thing, because if this is steel that I can weld to, this looks almost big enough where I can just turn down some stuff in the lathe, cut this off with the lathe, and there's our piece that we need. So I'm going to check the magnetism, see if this thing is... Oh yeah, good. So that's not all bad. It is a little too small just to fit the pulley itself onto, but that works out because I've got these two weld-on deals, so I'll machine it to whichever size I have to for it to fit and cut a keyway in it, and then I can change pulley out if I don't like it, so that works out even better. In there, now I just need to plug the machine in and we're ready to start cutting this part off. Unfortunately, I don't have a good way to chuck this side in there, so I'm going to cut this side off and get rid of it and get this collar off of here, and I'll flip it around. We'll machine out the other side when I get everything done here and cut our keyway in it and get it ready for the